Hey guys, it's Mrs. Wood. We are finishing up Unit 3 today. We're going to be talking about yoga and specifically looking at downward dog and child's pose. Okay guys, yoga is one of my most favorite forms of exercise for a lot of different reasons, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit throughout this presentation. But let's first look at the definition. So yoga is a widely practiced form of exercise that aids in mental, spiritual, and physical health. It really helps you get in tune with your body, connect and relax. It helps with stress and anxiety reduction, helps increase flexibility, strengthen the body, and it aids in a lot of pain reduction. So some of these moves on screen you may have seen before. Some of them you may have even done before. We've done yoga in the past for PE, and it's been really beneficial. So some of the moves you might not have seen, this one right here in the middle, this is a partner form of yoga, which I've never done before, but it's said to be really fun and actually extremely hard. Over here on the right is goat yoga, which a lot of people think is really fun too. I've never done that either, but if you like animals, it might be right up your alley. So lots of different variations. Poses range from extremely easy to extremely difficult. So you can really tailor your yoga practice specific for your individual needs, which is really nice. Okay, a couple things to focus on before we jump to the moves. We really want to make sure we are breathing through our poses, kind of similar to what we talked about with our lifts for strength training. A lot of times I see people holding their breath, specifically during difficult poses, and that's really going to hinder that move and your practice. So super important to focus on your breathing. Something else to keep in mind is everyone's flexibility is going to be different. So a move that is super easy for one person could be really difficult for someone else. So knowing your body's limits is going to be really important. The intention of yoga is to strengthen the body, increase flexibility, and just to get into like a state of calm. It is not the intention to overstretch your body and cause injury. So you just really need to go to where your body's comfortable and not push it past that limit. One more thing before we move on. When we talk about exercise, we typically think of cardio and running or lifting weights. We don't typically think of stretching, yoga, meditation and flexibility, when we really should be focusing on those areas as well. And this can be extremely important for you athletes out there. So if you're an athlete, I would highly encourage you to incorporate some of these things into your daily routine. If your range of motion and flexibility is limited, it's really going to hinder your movements within your sport. If you're able to have a full range of motion and good flexibility, you're going to be able to perform better, and your body's going to be able to move how it should and perform those moves that your sport requires you. So keep that in mind, athletes. You should be really incorporating some flexibility moves into your workout routine. Okay, first pose, downward dog. So I really like this pose a lot because it really focuses on the whole body. It stretches the arches of the feet, the calves, the hamstrings, back, and shoulders. I have back pain, so this pose specifically helps me target those areas that are problems. And it also increases circulation, removes additional stress that has been placed on the body, and is an overall really good yoga move. This pose is performed on your hands and feet. Hands are shoulder width apart, pressing firmly into the ground with your fingers spread out, kind of like this. Your heels are pressed down towards the floor. Some people may be able to get their heels flush with the floor, and other people may not be able to, and that's okay. Everyone's flexibility is going to be different. Your tailbone is pushed up and back towards the sky, and at the same time, your belly is being drawn in. So we've talked about core engagement a lot over the past few weeks, and it's going to be the same for a lot of yoga poses. You're really going to want to engage your core, and that's what this means when it says belly being drawn in. So this pose should look like an upside down V position, and we're going to look at some pictures and videos here coming up to specifically look at the pose. Okay, so the first couple pictures are my favorite. I would have to say his form is pretty stellar, probably even better than my form. Babies have really good flexibility, so they can do a lot of moves that adults sometimes can't do, and they look super cute doing it. So this is Lincoln doing downward dog. All right, child's pose. So this pose I also really like because it does help with neck and back pain as well. It's a relaxing pose that relieves stress and anxiety. It lengthens and arches the spine. So this pose begins by kneeling on the floor with your big toes touching. You're going to sit back on your heels and separate your knees about hip width distance. From there, you're going to lower your body down, and your tummy is going to be between your thighs, and then you're going to place your forehead on the floor. Now, your arm positioning can be a few different ways. I like to really stretch out my arms in front of me. It gives me a nice stretch in my shoulders and upper back. And then there's also a few other ways, which I'm going to show you in the video coming up. All right, a couple other pictures from our yoga expert, Lincoln. This is Lincoln doing child's pose. And this is where the name originates. A lot of times when babies sleep, they sleep in this child's pose position. It's very comfortable and natural for them. And of course, they look horrible doing it. So yeah, that's Lincoln doing child's pose. Alrighty, this is a video of me doing these poses, and I'm just going to talk through it a little bit. When you are doing, it's going to load. When you are doing downward dog, you typically start on your hands and knees and then push up in that V position from there. So I'm going to pedal through my feet here. This gives your calves and legs a really great stretch. You know, you can move throughout this movement. Sometimes people add on, they do a high plank. This really helps with additional core engagement. So you can kind of tailor it to your individual needs. You also want to make sure that you are keeping your head and neck in alignment. That way you're not providing extra stress in those areas. Next up is child's pose. So you can see my knees are spread out, my toes are together, and I'm putting my tummy on towards the ground and my head on my forehead on the ground. So another variation for your hands is you can put your palms together and put it up over the back of your head. You can also lay your arms next to your body towards your feet. But like I said, I enjoy putting my arms straight out in front of me. You can also put your arms out in cactus pose with your fingertips on the floor. And this helps pinch your shoulder blades together and really helps provide a stretch for your upper back and shoulder area. So just a few different variations that you can kind of play with as you're doing these poses. So pretty simple, easy poses that you would typically see in almost every yoga practice. Okay, before I let you guys go, I wanted to talk about foam rolling a little bit. Foam rolling is a self-myofascial release technique, which basically means you are giving yourself self-massage. This can be extremely vital when targeting muscle tightness and soreness. So it helps relieve muscle tightness and soreness, inflammation, and increases range of motion. This can be done prior to exercise or after, or both. These pictures here, we have all of these items at the school. This one here is a stick and you hold each end and that's how you roll out your muscles. These are different variations of foam rollers. And then this lower picture here are smaller foam and plastic balls that you can use for the same type of myofascial release. So I'm going to show you a video of me doing my rolling routine. I roll out my whole body, my back, my glutes, my hamstrings, my quads, my hand, and my calves. Every time that I roll, it really does help reduce pain, and it makes me feel 100 times better. It's a great way to target specific areas in your body. If you have pain within your body, sometimes it starts at a specific area and then it trickles down throughout the rest of your body. So really finding that area and getting that myofascial release is going to be extremely important. A couple other things to keep in mind when you're rolling. You don't want to go below your ribs because you don't want to cause additional pressure on that spine. So just make sure you're being safe when you're rolling. Rolling is specific for sore muscles and tight muscles. So if you have a pulled muscle or a torn muscle, you would not want to foam roll because that's going to make it worse. So just being in tune with your body and realizing, when you should foam roll is going to be important as well. So I would encourage you to incorporate foam rolling and yoga into your daily exercise routine. It's really going to provide you with a ton of benefits. Okay, so it is your turn to put this into practice. We are going to assign you a yoga video next week with the intention of getting your mind ready and relaxed and help reduce stress for the return to school. We've really enjoyed the past couple of weeks with you guys. I know it's been kind of rough remote learning, and we are really looking forward to seeing you guys in person, as I'm sure you guys are ready to come back as well. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we really look forward to seeing you soon. So put on some peaceful music, tune into the yoga video, and really get in tune with your body, relax, and reduce that stress, and we will see you refreshed at school in the next few weeks. Thanks, guys.